fiscal policy, then you have industry analysis. If it is automobile industry, I've given you example also. If it is IT based industry, then the analysis will be different, right? Automobile industry analysis and compared to IT, in fact, it doesn't have any correlation as such, and their analysis will be different. Okay, so there are various segments, various types of
Yes,
industries that
sir.
exist, right? So each and everything which is directly and indirectly related to the organization will be part of market analysis. Whereas marketing, I have made the thing simple last time only. All you have to do is think from the 7 P's point of view. That is product, price, place, promotion, then process,
Mhm.
people and physical evidence, right? So this seven P's
Yes, sir.
will be part of marketing analysis, right? Rishabh, I hope your doubt is clear.
Yes, yes,
Fine, fine. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay, fine, fine. Thank you. Let us move ahead. SWOT, all of you know, these two part were internal to the organization, right? And these two part uh, are external, external factors which has an impact on the organization. Maybe opportunities, it is a positive impact. This you can encash upon. Whereas threat are the challenges. We can call it SWOT also. This is what I've told you earlier. And this can be done to organization SWOT analysis. It can be done to the individual also. As an individual, I can always think about what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses. I can list them out, and once these four quadrants are pinned down, then you can try to increase the strength. Opportunities are not in your hand, they get created externally. So what you can do is try to increase your strength and try to decrease your weaknesses, right? And again, threat is external to the organization, which is not in your hand. Disruptive technologies which come, destructive factors may crop up, like competition, right? Some new startup may come up, and it may challenge the old setup. So these two factors, as I said, are external to the organization, which is not in the hand of the organization itself. Whereas these two factors, the organization can always work on and try to increase the strength and reduce the weaknesses, right? Whereas pestle we have seen last time, which is purely external to the organization. All this factor, political, economic, see this all this factor will form part of market analysis, right? Legal factor, ethical factor, whether using plastic is good or bad for the environment. So as an organization, you have to decide whether to go green. Marketing is also one of the concept. Green technology is also one of the concept. So how far the organization should go, how far the organization should be ethical, that is the viewpoint of the top management, and you have to think about it. So pestle will always be external to the organization. I hope I am clear up till now. And this is what we have seen. This was just a recap so that we know what we have done last time. Let us go to the slide which I am going to discuss for today. That is, today is 19th August 2022, right? 2020-22. So business plan 1 and business plan 2, uh, we are going to discuss, and this will happen only when you have done the market analysis. You will be preparing business plan outline only after you have analyzed the market properly. You have you know what are the factors that are going to have impact on your organization, right? uh, I hope the things are clear up till now. Any doubt the way Rishabh has asked? Fine. I hope the things are clear. Okay. So this is what we are going to discuss today. What goes in a business plan? What is the business plan outline? It includes executive summary. It includes company description. And first of all, why to make this business plan? What is the need for it? We'll be discussing on that also. Doing market analysis. See, market analysis will be part of business plan, right? But before you venture out into doing something new, you have to know the market, right? After that, you will be preparing the business plan, which will include market analysis. Then you will be talking about your organizational setup and management. Like we have seen four types of companies, four types of setup, not companies, by one of the famous YouTuber, Dhruva Rathi. He talked about how to start a new startup, right? So we have seen that video also. I hope all of you are able to recall and recollect whatever we have discussed last time, right? So that video was talking about proprietorship model sort of thing, then LPP, right? Then partnership firm. So all these models we have seen, and this is what you want to put it in business plan, organization and management, and services and product line which you are going to offer to your customer or end user, right? Then marketing and sales. How will this particular thing will be done? Who is going to take care of it? All you. Then funding required. How much of the money you will require from the open market, or you are going to borrow, or you're going to take loan. And financial projection, at least for a year's time, 1 year's projection has to be there minimum. You can take it further, 5 years and 10 years also. And what will go in appendix will include all those things which are directly and indirectly related to your organization. Like it can be a small summary of the competitors who are there in the market. You can put that also. You can put latest technology that is being used to produce the product or services. So this goes in a business plan. Now, how to write a business plan? There are typical 9 sections in traditional business plan outline. These are the 9 sections which we have discussed just now. But the business plan template may vary between companies. It is not at all a thumb rule that all this 9 factor may come into picture. In fact, few additional factors also you can add. Like one most important factor is like in organization, you can put subpart as staffing. Right? This is what we have seen in postcard. If you are able to remember management fundamentals or fundamentals of management, that subject was there in semester 1, where we talked about post crop planning, organizing, staffing. Staffing is one of the very important function when we talk about an organization, right? So this can be included here as a sub heading or sub part. It also starts with writing a synopsis, which is usually executive summary, right? So synopsis and executive summary may look similar, but they are different, right? Synopsis is something, a projection, right? You may, it's a blueprint of whatever you are going to do, right? So you can always start with synopsis. So this is how it will look like, your business plan, and see what is the purpose. Can somebody guess why to prepare this business plan? There are 2 3 factors which are very important when we talk about business plan. What can be the purpose of preparing a business plan? Anybody in the group?
To get the funding.
To get the funding. Good, excellent. See, whenever you approach a bank, just a moment, to get funding, Komal has also pointed out that, see, apart from getting funding, it will give you a roadmap of exactly what you're going to do, right? How you're going to do, and what is going to be your target in terms of sale, in terms of profit, right? In terms of the staffing pattern, how many department you will need. Somebody has raised their hand. Just yes, Rudir, you want to say something? Rudir has raised the hand.
Sir, your voice is breaking at that time. So could you
My
please repeat once?
now is it audible?
Now is audible, but earlier what you said now, it's breaking a lot.
Okay, I do not know. There may be issue with internet bandwidth sort of thing. Anyway, the slides are visible clearly.
Yes, sir. Slides are clearly visible.
Okay, fine, fine. Because see, the issue will be always there. This issue is going to remain forever, because in between there may be a problem issue with your connection or my connection. You never know what is happening. Okay. So purpose, as somebody has pointed out, who was that? Komal has said unable to unmute. No, fine. To get funding, Komal has said. Very true. Business plans are needed. As I said, the very first purpose may not be funding. Many a time you may be having those funds, whatever funds, know more about existing competitors in the market and how can we extend our products. Yeah, Vandana has said to know more about existing competitors. Yeah, as I said, it is also market analysis will talk about the competitors, right? And the products that are available in the market. But apart from this, it acts as a guide or act as a roadmap as to what exactly is the mission and vision of the organization, which you may include in company description. What is the purpose of basic purpose of forming that particular organization? When we're talking about a startup, you always start with a vision and mission. You have a vision like to be the topmost e-commerce organization in the world, or to be one of the topmost organization in India e-commerce, to know what the organization will do in its lifetime. How? Yeah, yes, Komal, exactly. Good. So this is more of doing an introspection about yourself, about your organization, and this is going to guide you out till the last. I'm to say till the time you achieve the target, till the time you achieve your vision and mission for that organization. The secondary objective, as I said, can be funding. It need not be always for funding. Many a time, your startup may not require fund. It is all idea based. We have seen many apps which are launched. Those are most of the time idea based only, right? Many startup are service based, which may not require that much of funding. It may require what, a good staff, good staffing pattern. So at the end of the month, you have to pay salary. That is provision you have to make. But most of the time, uh, not most of the time, I would say, funding is not required many a time, right? Kripal Singh, you want to add something? You have
Yeah,
any
it can also be for a strategic tie-up.
strategic type? Good, good. Alliance, right? That we can call it. Good, excellent. See, whenever two or amalgamation, also we can call it, whenever two organization merge themselves, like we recent example, we have HDFC Bank and SDFC, right? Those are called as HDFC twins. So now they are planning to merge themselves as a in the share market, right? You will be purchasing only SDFC. SDFC Bank is going to merge into SDFC Life. This is one of the simple example to explain. Whenever two organizations merge, it can be two different organizations also, two different setup. So whenever there is a merger, there is amalgamation, right? There is collaboration also. You can call it collaboration is different than merger and amalgamation. Collaboration, two organization they remain as it is, but they collaborate. Collaborate with what? Collaborate with whatever technology they are having. Collaborate with the expertise they are having, right? So at that time also the both the organization would like will have to exchange their business plan. They should not be hidden. They should not be kept confidential. Few factors you can hide, but at the time of discussion, you have to put up your business plan so that your partner will come to know that how your organization is functioning, what is the setup of the organization, right? And how much funds you are having, how much funds you can generate. All these factors will be helpful to the other organization. So that we can take as a third factor, very well pointed out by Kripal, right? So let us move further. So you know the purpose now. Now, what goes in marketing process overview? No, I'm going to skip this. SWOT we have already done. Pestle we have already done. How to segment your target market, right? This is part of segmenting. See, this is part of market analysis only. Market analysis where you segment your market through what? Through geographic, demographic, behavioral, and psychographic pattern. And these are the factors through which you can segregate or segment the market so that you know which market you need to target. Whether it's going to be geographic, like when we talk about what Western India, it includes Gujarat, Maharashtra, and all those states, Goa, and all. Whereas you can go demographic wise also, like if you are going to launch a 200cc bike, for example, right? It can be 100cc also, which is going to be very costly. So here your target audience will be probably youngsters, and this will be life cycle based, right? So you can segregate your market demographic wise also. Demographic is something which is related to the demographic pattern of your customer. So it depends what sort of product you are manufacturing or what sort of service you are providing. Accordingly, you can target the market. Behaviorally, you all know that is how much price sensitive. We know we all Indians are very price sensitive. Or you must have seen one advertisement also. कितना देती है? If can you recall what whose punchline was this?
Maruti.
Maruti, good, good, excellent. So here the message was like Indians are very price sensitive. So accordingly, you can and all of we know economy wise, Maruti is the is quite suitable for middle class. So their target market will be based on behavioral pattern, and they're going to target the middle class segment, middle and upper middle class, right? So brand loyalty also, that is behavioral pattern. Many a time we see Tatas as a very ethical organization. Their products are quality oriented, so it creates a brand loyalty. So once I see that the product is from Tata, I myself get guaranteed that the product is going to be quite economical and quality oriented, right? So accordingly, you can target. See, this is going to be part of your market analysis. You can take into account the values and beliefs and lifestyle of the consumers or the end users. Four P's we have already discussed. Financial plan, basic facts on financial plan for preparing the business plan. Now, financial plan will be part of what? It will be part of uh, financial projection and funding required, right? These two components will make your financial planning. This is what we have done, which will be part of your business plan. Here, income statement, balance sheets will make you know how much cash inflow and outflow is going to happen. Cash outflow will be through expenses, and cash inflow will be through the revenues you are going to generate out of the sales. Right here in balance sheet, you are going to list out what are your asset, right? Physical as well as cash based asset, and what are your liabilities, like paying the salaries will be liability, paying the rent, maintaining the office will be the liability of the organization, right? Paying for the EPF of the employees, taking out the insurance. Yes, Kripal, you can unmute yourself.
Sir, on the previous slide, I just wanted to understand one point.
Yes, yes.
So I understand we get cash flows from the revenue and the expense, and from there you can probably create apart from these things from the asset liability balance sheet and P&L.
Right.
So what is the income statement? I just wanted to understand.
Yeah, I'll coming to it. See, first of all, we are going to learn what are the components. See, I'm going to come to that also. Don't worry. Cash flow projection, income
Okay,
statement. This is all part of our discussion only. Don't worry about it. Okay.
okay, okay.
Even balance sheet, we are going to talk in basic of. See, as a startup, you need not be a finance guy, right? You need not be CA, but at least you should know this terminology. You should know what is meant by balance sheet, what is profit and loss statement, what is income statement. This at least you should be able to read it out, read between the lines. You need not be expert. See, even I myself, I am not a finance faculty, right? I am into
Okay,
operations.
okay.
I teach operations management and I teach marketing, right? But these are very simple terminologies. You can go into the depth of it also if you really want to understand what exactly happens in income statement and what exactly happens in the balance sheet. But basic of this you should be knowing, so that you can what, as a startup, you know where to go, and these statements are very important. Without knowing all this thing, you will never come to know whether you're making profit or losses, right? So reading this particular thing is very important. Okay, Kripal, I hope I'm clear.
Yes, clear. Thank you.
Fine, fine. So let us move ahead. What is cash flow? The term cash flow refers to the net amount of cash and cash equivalent being transferred in and out of the company. That is, कितना profit, कितना पैसा कंपनी में आ रहा है और कितना पैसा बाहर जा रहा है. बाहर किस चीज के लिए? For paying the liabilities, right? Paying the liabilities, it will go outside, and through revenues it will come in through your sales will include your cost of the product plus the profit margin, right? So cash received represents inflow while money spent represent outflow. It's simple as that. So this is how you can prepare your cash inflow projection. This is an example, good example, where the organization has projected how their customer are going to increase, and how revenue is going to increase over a period of time, and this ultimately will lead to what? Cash flows. Now, what is an income statement? An income statement is one of the three important financial statement. One we know, balance sheet. I'll be talking about other, right? Used for reporting a company's financial performance over a specific accounting period. Accounting period, all of you know what is the accounting period? It is of 1 year, right? And all of you must be knowing how when it start and when it ends, right? It is a time when you when you
Till to March that financial year.
right, good, good. It is a time when you put what IT return. IT return सबको पता है. Those who are doing jobs, they know what is the time to make IT returns, right? While the other two key statement being the balance sheet and the statement of cash flow. So this three important financial statement as a startup, as an entrepreneur, you should be well versed with. You should be well aware about all these things. And also know as the profit and loss statement, or the statement of revenue and expenses. This statement of cash flow is also known as profit and loss statement or the statement of revenue and expenses. The income statement primarily focus on company's revenue and expenses during the specific period. So what is an income statement? See, all this thing will go in income statement, right? These six components will form the part of income statement. Now, what is balance sheet? We have seen in our first thing. See, before we move ahead with all this thing, I would like to show you a small video.
Sir, please show last slide. Sir, please show last slide income statement wala.
Yes, yes, this one or the first one?
No sir. इसके पहले ये this one. Yes sir.
Okay.
Thank you sir.
Okay, fine. I'm going to share you one video, okay, now, and as usual, I'll be asking few questions once I stop playing that video. Okay, just let me know whether the voice is audible to all of you and whether you can see the video once I start sharing it. This video is from Gravitas Plus. It's an excellent channel. All of you can subscribe to this. In fact, I frequently watch this channel. They have all. I'll share the link also in the chat box. All of you can subscribe to this channel. It's an excellent channel. She is Palki Upadhyay, Palki Sharma Upadhyay. She's an excellent orator, and she comes out with latest news. So here goes the video.
Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Have you ever thought of starting?
Is it audible to all of you and visible as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. I'll play.
Starting up. Have you had a unique idea that you thought could make a brilliant product, but you were scared of taking the plunge, or risking your savings, or ushering in a change too late into your career? What if I told you it's never too late to start up? What if I told you that now is the best time to start up? Meet Falguni Nair. She's 59 years old and one of India's most successful entrepreneurs. Nair decided to start up 19 years into her career. She was a few months shy of 50 when she started Nykaa. Nykaa went live on the 30th of October 2012. It made Nair India's richest self-made woman in just 9 years. Her net worth today is $7 billion. As for Nykaa today, it is one of India's most valuable companies. A few days ago, the company went public. The IPO was a blockbuster. It made Nair the poster girl of Indian startup. Now, I realize that I've been using the word startup for some time now, so allow me to quickly tell you what a startup really is. I'm sure a lot of you already know this. A startup is a young company, one that is selling a unique product or service, that's founded by one or more entrepreneurs and initially funded by the founders, their families or friends. Today, India has 58,959 recognized startups. 73 of them are unicorns, meaning their valuation is $1 billion or more. Which are these companies? Ola Cabs, Paytm, Byju's, Swiggy, Oyo Rooms, Big Basket, Lenskart, and many others. 38 Indian startups entered the Unicorn Club this year. The likes of Licious, Grofers, BharatPe, Urban Company, Farm Easy, Cred, First Cry. Most of you already are familiar with these brands, and that's the amazing thing about startups. Their entire focus is on making life easier for customers or their clients, and this helps them become a household name in no time. If you want a haircut, there are startups bringing the salon to your home. Do you have an urge to make kebabs? Mince meat will be at your doorstep in minutes. Do you love makeup? The best of global brands are just an order away. No customs or sky-high shipping charges. That's the amazing thing about startups. They're bullish on being hassle-free. Indian startups are doing a fine job at that. It is no wonder that India is adding an increasing number of unicorns to its sleeves every passing year. Look at this chart. Between 2011 and 2014, India produced only one unicorn every year. In 2015, the number jumped to 5, became 8 in 2018, 9 in 2019, and this year the graph just won't stop climbing. 38 and counting, and it's not even December. So what's working in favor of Indian startups? And why do I say now is the time to start up? First, the current scenario. Number one, the Wuhan virus pandemic has accelerated the online switch. People who never bought even a packet of sugar online are today adding their monthly ration to shopping carts online. Medicines are
अभी तो सर्विसिंग वाले बार कर रहा है लेकिन वो जबरदस्त है आज बंदी है पूरे पूरे चेंज हो गए लास्ट टाइम मैंने इस तरह जा करता
Sir, your voice is echoing and we cannot hear the video right now.
जैसे ये जूता को फ्लैट किया था मैंने प्रॉब्लम के बाद ऐसे ऐसे दो लोग ले रहे थे फिर
Excuse me, sir. Mukul, sir.
मैं लगा उससे नमस्ते yes just yeah yes who is this yeah the video was stopped
being bought online, and so is milk or flowers.
Yes, sir. The video
cup
was
of
stopped
tea.
and we could hear you.
Children are being tutored.
In fact, I got a call, that's why I was there. Anyway, I'm going to play it.
Online. Money is being exchanged online. Number two, the smartphone proliferation in India. It is helping people avail the services and products these startups are offering. Number three, the desire for consumption, accompanied by the rise in income levels. You see, today an average 20-year-old or 30-year-old has more disposable income than people of the same age group had some 10 years back. So they're spending more money, be it on food, clothing, cosmetics or holidays. Today we are buying more products and services than ever before, and this is helping startups grow. So that's the demand side of the story. The second part is the supply side, and this too is rosy. Number one, there's a massive flow of talent. India already has premier engineering and business schools. The IITs, the IIMs, they make up for nearly 40% of India's startup founders and leaders. Number two, India's youth is not scared of taking risks. They're open to entrepreneurial experiments. Number three, business is no longer seen as an occupation confined to India's mercantile community. Business has become a legit career today. Number four, as Indian startups grow, they're attracting more top quality talent, retaining the brightest of students in India. India's top talent is staying back to start up or join startups instead of joining the Silicon Valley. That way, the startup culture has reversed the so-called brain drain. So there is demand, there is supply. What about funding? That brings us to the third part of the success story. Indian startups are doing well because investors are happy to put their money in these companies. Look at numbers from quarter three. Between July and September 2021, Indian startups raised more than $10 billion. That's twice the amount raised in the same period last year and 41% more than the funding raised in the second quarter. Now look at this chart. The numbers are soaring. Today, India ranks 20th in the global startup ecosystem ranking. It has jumped 3 spots. India ranks third when it comes to the share of unicorns. It is behind only the United States and China. India's entrepreneurial journey is not new. It began some 4 decades ago. You're all familiar with these logos: TCS, Infosys, Wipro. These IT services sprung up in the 80s. They invested in technology. They harnessed the potential of a young English speaking workforce. These companies brought India to the global platform and offered the world cost effective tech services. The 90s gave birth to some big Indian banks: ICICI, HDFC, Axis. It coincided with the birth of Airtel. By 2011, InMobi had already placed India on the unicorn map. In 2014, the Narendra Modi government came to power. It prioritized the digital transformation of India. Startup India was launched in the year 2016. The idea was to, quote unquote, build a strong ecosystem that is conducive to the growth of startup business, to drive sustainable economic growth and generate large-scale employment opportunities. Today, India's startup sector is valued at $315 billion. It employs more than 500,000 people. Today, we are living in a perfect startup ecosystem. India has progressive government policies, capital assistance from investors, and the brilliance of Indian talent. Like I said, now is the time to start up. So if you have a disruptive idea, take it forward, create a solid plan, have a well-defined niche, know your target group, set your goals, hire wisely, tighten your seatbelts, and jump in to ride the startup wave. All the best.
Yeah, I hope all of you followed this video, nicely prepared. Well, that is all for this video. I hope all of you followed the video. It's very nicely prepared. Now my question is, what was the reason that was enlisted by Palki Upadhyay uh, behind so many startups and successful startups? That too, many startups have failed also in past. But what are the major reasons that are leading to so many startups? Anybody in the, you can just raise your hand. You can just raise your hand and I will ask you. Yes, Abhishek. Yes, Abhishek.
So one of the things was, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
one of the things was, I think there is a lot of youth in the country, and the youth has a lot of disposable income available at their disposal to invest, and there is a lot of appetite to take risks to kind of get into startups and stuff like that.
Right.
And there is a bit of an impetus from the government after 2014 with initiatives like Startup India, which is also kind of made the process a lot simpler.
Right. Good. Good. Fine.
There's something which just struck me, yeah, from the
Exactly.
video.
Exactly. Abhishek. So there is a demand, there is a supply from these startups. There is funding which is available. With what this video was talking about was funding. There's plenty of investors who have confidence in the startups, especially Indian startups we are talking about. Kripal, I'll give chance to Kripal. Kripal, you want to say something?
Yeah. So apart from what Abhishek and you said, so the others are the online access. So many people now have much more, access to the online.
Exactly.
The second was the conflict that happened with China. So a lot of funding was initially which was going to the China because investors look at the region first and then within the region
Right, right,
countries.
right, right.
Also the growth of the country in all the aspects. So
Right.
these are the other two reasons I believe
Good,
are
good.
mentioned.
Fine.
But also to highlight, she she missed one of the very important point, which is the feature of startup.
Mhm.
So any company vis-a-vis a startup, the difference is the startup has to has a scalable product or services.
Right.
I think in one of the quadrant where she was mentioning what is a startup, it was missed, I believe.
Yeah, in which she has mentioned that you prepare a good business plan, like projection, right? Then you fundings, plenty of investors are there. Yes, Rishabh, you would like to contribute something?
Uh, yes, sir. The first thing is for any startup, they require a very solid example
Right.
to do so. Like if you take an example for Ola and Uber. Like I'm not talking about both. Let's say for Ola, the reason behind the startup of Ola was I don't remember the name, but there was a guy who was really tired of expending his own money on vehicles and fuel. So he decided to put up a local taxi.
Right.
After that, seeing the environment, he then later introduced cab sharing.
Right.
Two three persons sharing a single cab together.
Right.
So one of the reasons for the startup is his or her own experience, what she or he has faced. To resolve that issue, it it is a reason for a startup.
Right, right, fine. See, basically, it is always said that necessity is the mother of all invention, right? जहाँ पे भी just startup जो है, just most of the startup have clicked because those problems were faced by those startup founders, right? And they realize that this is a problem which everybody is facing. Ola, you have given one example, right? Then we have Oyo hotels, right? Which usually don't have any of their property which is owned by them. It is, and see, basic reason behind all this thing is access to internet. Nowadays access to internet has become very easy, and because of this startups have cropped up like anything, because now you don't need a lot of capital to do business. Most of the like Zomato, for example, this is all internet based, right? Even Oyo hotel, you have to book it online. Ola, you have to book it online. You cannot call Ola and book the taxi, right? So you have to download the app and then go for booking. So it is all because of the internet of the things, IoT जो उसको बोलते हैं, या internet, access to internet. This startup phenomena has grown like anything in this few years. What we have seen, in fact, it has slowed down also. It has, the way it has started, it has slowed down also. That also you have to remember, because of huge competition, right? And because of lack of planning on the part of the startups. So we were till what? We were till what is income statement, right? So what is balance sheet? Let us say this. After this, again, I'm going to show you one video. Again, after followed by the video, I'll be asking you few questions like this. Okay. So what is a balance sheet? The term balance sheet refers to a financial statement that reports a company's assets, right? Both liquid asset and non-liquid asset, liabilities and shareholders equity at a specific point of time. Balance sheet provides the basis for computing rates of return for the investors, that is dividend and bonuses, you can call it, and evaluating a company's capital structure. This is needed. Somebody has pointed out, when the companies go for tie-ups, go for alliance, go for merger, go for partnership, companies, this gives the company's capital structure. In short, balance sheet is a financial statement that provides a snapshot of what a company owns and what it owes, right? Owes means dues, liabilities, as well as the companies invested by the, as well as the amount invested by the shareholders. So this all will be included in the balance sheet. Okay. This is all for this business plan 1 and 2. Let us go to another video which I have already shortlisted for all you people. I'm going to share it now. Again, same on the same channel, that is Gravitas Plus. I'm going to share the video now. Just a minute. Just let me know whether it is visible and audible.
Technology is always changing how we live our lives, from how we shop to how we pay, travel, and communicate.
right? Without the startup ecosystem, what were we doing? We were mostly doing IT services. We were not innovating enough. Most of the products that were being built in India were questionable.
Technology has undergone some dramatic changes in the past 2 decades. Things are more accessible now, more often than not, just a click away.
I think startup ecosystem is playing a defining role in making the country self-reliant and truly independent. And I think we should just continue to do that.
We are living in the era of digital disruption, and startups have had a huge role to play in this.
Everything changed in India with the Flipkart story, right? Before Flipkart, I don't know many people who could stand up and go to their dad and say, hey, I want to start up a company. I think the Buzz has changed the way we look at startups. It made us realize that you could start from having very little and end up being richer than most industrialists in this country.
Young entrepreneurs aspired to achieve big. Investors trusted them, and the government supported their ambitions.
So if you go back in time, one of the first few would be a book my show or a make my trip, right? So flight booking was a demand of the market, and hence make my trip came into being. Watching movies in theaters was the way to go, and booking tickets was a problem, and hence book my show, right? So I think startups have evolved based on local market need for us.
These startups have brought about a digital revolution and made our lives easier. And more importantly, they have made India more independent and self-reliant.
What you see today is sort of a result of that is what has been happening in the last couple of decades.
The prevalence of very cheap data in India has made all of this possible.
Today, India is home to around 40,000 active startups. In just 8 months this year, 21 startups had already made it to the Unicorn Club, a term used to describe firms with a valuation of more than $1 billion. The Indian startup ecosystem is maturing, and it happens to be one of the key pillars in making India truly digital.
I think the next large revolution that is coming in India is coming from startups building in India for India.
As India celebrates its 75th Independence Day, we look at different sectors to show how tech startups are becoming problem solvers, empowering citizens of India and helping the country reduce its dependence on foreign players. Before we discuss apps and services that you and I enjoy on a regular basis, let's first talk about tech solutions that Indian startups are building to bolster India's defense efforts. These emerging players are using technologies such as drones, real-time data, artificial intelligence and robotics to help keep our borders safe. One such startup is Cron AI, a deep tech company.
So think of us like the Qualcomm and Android of the 3D sensing industry. Now imagine you want to make a border security solution, or you want to make something which is an autonomous delivery pod, or any kind of autonomous solution. All these solutions or systems would require to see the world in different contexts, in different conditions, in different weather conditions, changing dynamics. Now for that to happen, you need something which allows these solutions to do so. And that's where SenseEdge or Cron AI's products come in.
A laser and infrared based technology is a security solution that has been developed by Cron AI. It is being deployed on Indian borders to detect infiltration and help take appropriate action.
Our partners like Slingshot, Adore have taken our technology and created solutions like Kavach, which are key parts of monitoring and securing borders, where they take sensors, our perception software stack, fuse the 3D data, and are able to give very, very accurate, reliable information sets about what is coming, detection, classification, forecasting.
These deep tech startups are not just building solutions to help secure borders. They're also focusing on other critical infrastructure. And given India's diverse geography, it becomes imperative to have indigenous solutions.
Let's say a Bangalore airport or a Bombay airport experiences much more rain. whereas a Delhi airport or a Delhi infrastructure is much more complex with other problems. Now, how do you create solutions to secure all these complex dynamics or all these complex different scenarios? So that's where our platform comes into play, where people can create very, very specialized solutions for doing so. In fact, some of our partners are already serving these companies or these people who are securing these larger airports or larger critical infrastructures and leveraging this technology to secure these infrastructures.
There are many other promising deep tech startups like Cron AI that are pushing autonomous solutions, facilitating urban mobility and empowering the security and defense industries.
You have so many VCs specifically focused on deep tech, on hardware, on difficult tech as they call it, space tech, which 5 years ago, if you actually went out and started searching for investors who were excited about it, you maybe find 5 or 6 on the top of your list, and that list keeps on going now.
Who would have thought that one day making payments in India would just be a matter of a few taps on the mobile screen? The synergy between finance and technology called fintech has ushered in a new revolution.
Fintech is a very local problem. India has a very different financial ecosystem. India has a very different regulatory ecosystem than the rest of the world. And fortunately, India also has been one of the most innovative countries when it comes to creating the fintech ecosystem. Like when you look at UPI, there's nothing like that across the entire world. Like even Western countries, the payment ecosystem of Western countries is also significantly weaker when you look at things like UPI and a lot of other fintech innovations that are happening in India.
Digital payments and mobile wallets have made online transactions of money easy and hassle-free.
I think it is a combination of multiple players working with that. I would not say that it's Razorpay or any one particular player or one particular ecosystem participant who has led this growth. It has been a combination of multiple things. First is the ecosystem itself changing. The increased availability of internet for cheap, with effects like Geo playing their role in making internet accessible to most population. The increased access to banking due to demonetization, GST, and COVID and multiple other factors that happened, and the consumers becoming digitally aware, the merchants becoming digitally aware, and finally players such as ours who are doing their own things to increase customer awareness and increase merchant awareness on accepting payments. I think all of them have worked in synchrony to create this really thriving fintech ecosystem.
Startups like Paytm, Razorpay, PhonePe and MobiKwik have had a huge role to play in this. And the launch of indigenously developed unified payment interface by the government has further led to an exponential growth and adoption of digital payments in the country.
Every time I visit outside of India, now it feels that payments is primitive in most of the countries outside of India, and payments in India feel a lot more futuristic.
The facts speak for themselves. Digital payments have grown by 80% in the last 250 days in India. The rapid growth of fintech players has also helped in accelerating financial inclusion.
Fintech startups are using technology in a big way to democratize distribution of financial services. So today, I am confident that just like in the last 10 years, digital payments has reached now 250 million Indians, and this number is going to increase rapidly in the next few years to 600-700 million.
The digital payments industry in India is nascent but fast evolving. It is expected to account for a 71% share of all payments in India by 2025. Clearly, the fintech sector continues to be a leading light of the startup ecosystem.
Whatever growth that we have seen in fintech so far, it's still very, very early days. There's a lot of growth that is still possible. I think India as a country has a lot of scope for financial inclusion.
When it comes to health and wellness, sometimes people struggle to get the right care. At times, finding the right doctor is a challenge, or procuring medicines could be tough. Enter startups that are redefining the healthcare industry. Among them, one of the leading names is Practo, which is born from a personal pain point.
Practo's idea is actually very driven from a personal journey that Shashank had, and I walked that journey with him. So his dad was undergoing a surgery. He needed a second opinion. He reached out to a lot of different doctors, and he was trying to share a lot of medical data with these doctors to get a second opinion. And that's the point we realized, and this is way back in 2008, that technology is, prevalence of technology, specifically in healthcare in Indian context, was non-existent. We met a lot of doctors and we realized most of them were not using any technology, and a very few small group of doctors who were using it were using products which are mostly built for US market, extremely complicated, does not have any Indian context, no localization. And that's when we decided that no, we really need to make healthcare is a very high anxiety need for consumer. Every time you have needs of healthcare, generally it's a high anxiety event, and it's also very complex. For most of us, we actually don't really understand it. And for us, from very day one, it was very clear that how do you make that connection between doctor and patient experience as convenient as possible, so that you can focus on your or your loved one's health.
Today, more than 3,000 startups in India focus on health tech. They cover areas like preventive healthcare, analytics, pathology, emergency services, among other things. Some of them are also bridging the healthcare divide between urban and rural areas.
Over the last 10 years, as the market has matured, and I think mobile and mobile data has actually played a very important role in the explosion that we're seeing in health tech startups, is now we have that technology which is available to the consumers, using which they can access healthcare very, very easily. And we have seen every part of healthcare, whether it is medicine, telemedicine, diagnostics, hospitals, surgeries, like every different part, analytics, like every different part of healthcare has actually seen a number of startups come up and solve very specific problems in each of those areas.
We today offer teleconsultations, which is a remote way to get to your doctors. No matter which part of the country you are in, you could always get access to the best doctors on the platform. That's one. Second, you could get access to diagnostics, which is you have a blood test to be done, a pathology test to be done, or an imaging test like a CT scan, MRI, etc. We facilitate that because we have a wide network of diagnostics providers across the country. And the third thing that we do is deliver medicines. Imagine that you came to the platform, you saw a doctor, and you have a prescription in your hand. You could simply click on a button, order the medicines, and it comes home and so on.
The pandemic has exposed problems in healthcare systems worldwide, including in India, and the startups can address some of these issues, particularly those related to access. We just showed you how these emerging and established startups are troubleshooting problems with technology, helping in building a stronger economy, striving to make our lives better, and making India more secure. But that is not all. Indian startup ecosystem is thriving, and young entrepreneurs are even getting better at addressing everyday problems with the help of technological solutions.
The startups in India are really changing the game.
Startups as a segment has a very strong role to play in making India Atmanirbhar or self-reliant, because the kind of innovation that is coming up bottoms up from startups in India, it's Indian entrepreneurs working on ground, speaking to customers, speaking on what their problems are and then solving for them, and not just competing locally but also competing with sometimes global giants in solving those challenges and staying ahead of the curve.
Pick up your phone and you can get a cab at your service right at your doorstep, or plan your holiday without having to call a travel agent or a hotel. That is how convenient travel has become in India, courtesy homegrown ride-hailing applications and travel apps.
You have more and more employment opportunities in India, number one. Number two, you have more and more products which are specialized and solving the problem, which are very unique to India, which was never seen before. Like a good example, electric scooters from Ola. I think the way they're addressing the problem, no international brand could have thought of it.
Food delivery startups are another bunch that have made our lives easier. And grocery shopping has never been this hassle-free. While Indian startups are growing by leaps and bounds in various sectors, there are still a few sectors where there is a vacuum, such as communication and messaging.
In India, it is limited to the 1-2% of India which knows English very well to go and have a discussion in that language. Whereas 98% of India which uses the internet actually has no voice on the internet today, right? So when we, we're building Vocal, which is our question answer platform, a lot of the answerers on Vocal actually said, why only answer questions? Why can't I just say what is on my mind? And that's what triggered us to get into the details and saw that 98% actually don't have access to come and speak on the internet. And basically that's how we started Coup as an experiment to enable voices in local language.
While Indian Twitter rival Coup has set out on a journey to take on American apps, it has still a long way to go.
There's a very specific time, a window of opportunity for us as Indian entrepreneurs to build these fundamentally empowering products for the Indian audience, right? Using Indian language as a hook.
Other startups in diverse spheres such as
Fine, I think I have to stop the video because we are running out of time. I hope all of you followed this video. Again, very nicely prepared. And it talks about the reason why so many startups are so successful here in India. And in 2021, almost 21 startups have achieved the status of unicorn. Now, can anybody define what is unicorn? Please raise your hand and you can unmute yourself.
They said it was a unicorn club.
Right.
So I'm assuming that it will be a club for startups.
No, my question is what is
I think it is like they have a turnover
one by one. Just a moment.
one billion.
Just a moment. See, raise your hand. I'll call your name. That is what I want. Raise your hand. Yes, Kripal. My question is
So
what?
any startup, any.
Yes, Kripal.
So I understood your question is what is the unicorn?
Yeah, what is unicorn, or you can how do you define unicorn?
So any company, startup company whose valuation is more than 1 billion US dollar
Good,
is
excellent.
called unicorn.
Exactly, excellent. Himani has also answered it. Company's valuation, the company's valuation from the market point of view is more than 1 billion. It's the status of unicorn. Yes, Priyal, you want to answer?
Hello, sir. Yeah, so unique, I think is like the best client to get for your company who can actually finance the money for your company so that it can work.
Right.
That is the way a startup works.
Yeah, unicorn usually get a lot of funding because they have reached that club, that valuation, and it builds the
Lots of
confidence.
funding is required for
Yeah,
the same.
and it builds the what foundation and confidence in that particular organization from the point of view of investors, right? Fine, that is all for today's session. Any doubt, any queries in this? We'll continue with the session in coming whatever schedule is being circulated to you next time. That is all for today. Thank you all of you for joining. Thank you so much. I'm ending the meeting session for today. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Muskan. Thank you all of you.